Hi everyone, I'm Katrina and today I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free review of The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. This is a retelling or reimagining of 1001 Nights. Khalid is the Caliph of Khorasan and every night he takes a new bride, but come morning she is dead with a silver cord around her neck. Then we have Shahrazad, also known as Shazi, whose best friend Shiva was one of the king's brides that was killed. So she decides to volunteer as tribute and be one of the king's new brides and use that opportunity to take revenge and kill him. She manages to survive that first night and learns that not everything is as it seems. The Wrath and the Dawn is definitely going to be one of my favourite books of 2016. I think it kind of made me fall in love with reading again. It's just been so long since I've read a book that made me want to stay up all night reading it. I just fell in love with the book so much. The writing is absolutely beautiful. It has such vivid descriptions of the setting. The setting is influenced by Persia and we get really rich descriptions of the desert environment as well as the clothes and even the food. My gosh, there were so many really delicious descriptions of the food. Like I felt so hungry sometimes when I was reading it. And the way in which the world building is done with all of this description, it was really subtle and seamless as well. We're given enough detail to really vividly paint this world in our minds, but this information isn't dumped on us in such a way that it felt like it was forcefully building this really diverse setting. I really enjoyed the story as well. I'm not really familiar with the original 1001 Nights tale, so going into this it felt really fresh to me, not having that background knowledge. I think this is also a fantasy, so there are some elements of magic that we're introduced to, but it doesn't go into very much detail about it, so I don't think I've got a really strong idea of what the magic system really is. So I'm hoping that in the second book this is kind of explored a little more and is explained in a little more detail. As a first book as well, there are so many secrets and so many mysterious paths. There's just a lot of questions that I have that aren't actually answered in this first book, so I feel that this does set up quite a bit for a sequel. I need to read The Rose and the Dagger soon because I want my questions answered, and I just think that the action and the tension is really going to ramp up in that second book. With the exception of Tariq, who is Shazi's first love, I either absolutely adored or either was really fascinated by all of the characters that we meet in this book. I just found the cast of characters that we meet so incredibly compelling. I just wanted to know all about everyone's motivations and their desires. The way in which these characters were written, I was just so interested in all of them. So we have Shazi, who is really strong, passionate, she's extremely clever, she's very silver-tongued, stubborn, and quite honestly, she could be a bit of a brat. But I didn't actually find myself irritated by that trait, and I think that I kind of attribute that to the fact that Despina, her handmaiden, called her out when she was being a pain in the butt. Despina really complimented Shazi in that way, and it led to a lot of really snarky banter that I found hilarious, and I just think we get to see the beginning of what I hope is a really strong female friendship, particularly in the second book. Then we have Khalid, who is very stoic and mysterious. It took me a little longer to warm up to him than Shazi did, and at some points I was a little bit irritated by his terseness, but as we actually go through the story and learn more about him and peel back those layers, we see the complexities of his character. By the end, I found him to be a really interesting character and honestly quite romantic at times. We also have Jalal, who I fell in love with from the beginning. He was just so witty and I loved how playful he was, particularly when he's interacting with Shazi. He is Khalid's cousin and I think he was a really good balance for Khalid as well. We also have Rahim, who I think was quite similar to Jalal in his role as being kind of like that supporting sidekick character to Tariq, as Jalal was to Khalid. Though out of the side characters, particularly those that are a little more central to the story, I found him to be probably the least developed. So Tariq, I hated him. I really didn't like him as a character, but at the same time I don't think we're supposed to really like him. I wasn't really interested in his storyline. I think this is partly because I don't think he really believes that Shazi can actually take care of herself, even with the fact that every one of Khalid's previous wives has been killed, and Shazi not only survived the first night, but has managed to survive for weeks and weeks after that. Obviously she's doing something right and has managed to not get herself killed. I understand where Tariq is coming from, like he doesn't actually really know Khalid like Shahzi does, so he only sees this monster. But I feel like he only really sees Shahzi as like this damsel in distress, and I don't think he really acknowledges the fact that she is this really strong and independent person. So seeing that in contrast to Shahzi's point of view, where we do witness her being this really strong and clever woman, it just made me really dislike Tariq. Then we also have characters like Rajput and Yasmin and Jahandar and the Sultan of Parthia. There's just so many side characters that we get a glimpse of that really piqued my interest, and I just want to get in their heads and learn all about them. With the romance in this book, it's definitely a case of a hate turned love relationship. So if you're not a fan of that hate to love trope, then you might not be as invested in the romance as I was, but I really enjoyed it. I will admit though that I feel like Shahrazad kind of went from this must kill the king to being attracted to him a little too easily. I didn't think there was a really strong enough reason from her to make that switch so soon. Even still, I adored seeing their relationship flourish. There was a lot of sexual tension and so many swoon-worthy quotes, and I mean, the way that their romance started definitely wasn't ideal. You know, there's a lot of hatred and animosity there, and you know, the threat of being killed by the other one. As we progress, there are also still a lot of secrets between the two of them, but as Shahzi and Khalid learn about each other and their histories, and some of these secrets bubble to the surface, I just really adored seeing the two of them overcome all of that crap and not only grow stronger from all of it, but learn to really trust each other. They just grew to love each other selflessly, and it just swoon. And I think the two of them work really well, not only as a couple, but as a king and a queen that would really successfully rule over Khorasan. The Wrath and the Dawn was just such a satisfying book to read, except for, you know, the way that things ended so abruptly. I need more of this story. I need to know how things continue in the sequel. I just really ship Shahzi and Khalid so much. It's been a while since I've been this invested in a romance as well. I ended up giving The Wrath and the Dawn 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it and would definitely recommend it. Those are my thoughts on the book. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you've read the book as well, then I'd definitely be interested in hearing your thoughts. Did you love it as much as I did? But I will see you tomorrow with a new video, so until next time, I'll see you in the comments. Bye!